And
I know. Exactly, Nick. I know. All right, so
okay.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start this off the way that we always start it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, who are you?
Well, my name is Sonia García, and I'm from Spain. Yeah, I live in Madrid,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 25 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you always live in Spain? Is that, where you were born and raised and you haven't
Yeah.
moved? Have you done any traveling?
I was raised in Madrid. I lived in Mallorca for a while,
Mm-hmm.
almost a couple years, but I went back to Madrid because, problems with jobs, and so I had to go back.
No, I mean, being a gamer through all of the turmoil that's happened in Spain, were you able to still focus?
It's hard. Well, I was lucky because I didn't have to work, because my parents could provide, and I'm studying right now. So I'm kind of lucky, but I know a lot of people that has to work and they couldn't do anything else. So I couldn't be gaming if I had to. Yeah.
So, like growing up, did you ever do a lot of sports or anything when you were growing up in school? Or you were a very competitive nature, or
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I've always been very competitive. I actually did a lot of sports.
Mm-hmm.
I did tennis. I did some other, but I was pretty good at basketball, and I really love it. But I had to stop because I hurt my knee.
Okay.
And that's kind of when I started playing more, because I had this competitiveness, inside me, and I don't know. I guess I filled up with esports.
And you feel like you were drawn to the team game over the individual because it's like you play tennis, that's 1v1, right?
Yeah.
Or 2v2, I guess, but but then you went for basketball, and that's definitely more team. Do you feel a bit more comfortable in that?
Yes, I do actually. I mean, I like my individual time, but in the game. But no, I feel like I'm better team player than that I would be on my own in another game, for example.
So did you play games before? While you were playing sports, were you still gaming, or did it really just kind of come about after you gave up on sports because of the injury? Is that when you were just like, okay, games?
No, I've kind of always played. My brothers have always been playing games, and so I grew up with that. And
How many brothers do you have?
I have 2 brothers and 1
Older,
sister.
younger?
I'm the youngest,
okay.
so they're pretty old compared to me. So yeah, I grew up watching them play. They actually played CS. My brother, the younger one, he had a team even in, I think in 1.5. He had in the times Spawn and those,
Okay.
I think. He told me he had a team. They weren't super good, but yeah, it was fine times.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I grew up watching them. I was always playing, with consoles, and yeah, but I couldn't play much because I didn't have my own computer, and I didn't like the consoles that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't start playing until I got it, and I kind of got it at that time, when.
So were you doing a devil walk where you'd watch your brother play and then be like, okay, he stands up and you just sit down?
Yeah. I was always behind him. I kind of liked watching him because I felt like I was a noob, so I didn't know how to play. So I was like, I will just watch, and he wouldn't let me that much time. But yeah, sometimes he'll be like, okay, sit down, play a little.
Did he train you at all then? When
No.
when you turned competitive, or when you really started to focus in CS?
I was playing CSS, and it was 2007-08 when I started playing competitive because I didn't know anything about it, so it was just a team, some friends.
Did you how did you get into tournaments then? How did you discover that there was an actual competitive scene apart from obviously your brother? He had his team.
But I didn't know about that until I had my own team.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because it came up in a conversation, and he just told me, oh, I had a team. I was like, really?
All right then, yeah.
Yeah. So I was. I heard about. I had a team, like some friends, from a clan. One of those servers that there's like a lot of people paying for the server. So I was one of those, and yeah, we were playing like wars.
And clan wars, okay.
Yeah, and then I heard that there were actually female teams in Spain. I was like, oh, I want to be part of one. I don't know, it seemed really interesting, and I finally got into it. And they played tournaments. They were playing like cups and ESL. So I started playing those, and then I heard what LANs were. I couldn't go until a little while after, but that's how I started with a female team in Spain.
So how do you feel about like the scene in general right now, especially with like CS:GO and how big CS is getting?
You mean female or in general?
In general.
I think it's growing a lot. Yeah, I feel like...
We'll talk about female.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah, in general. In general, I think it's growing, but also female is growing. Like, yeah. I think it's more every day, more females are interested. I think because there's more tournaments and they feel maybe that it's easier to get into the tournaments now. But it's a process because
you obviously have to work your way up, right?
Yeah,
so
it's not that easy, but I think it's still growing. Yeah.
So like more qualifiers, more just all around games to play. How do you feel about the CS or the female scene now? In comparison to like the scene at large, because there's still that this ESWC. They're gonna have their girl tourney.
Yeah.
So like, what do you feel about like where the female scene is going right now? Is it the same as when you started out in it?
No. Well, I mean, CSS, it was nothing compared to this. There was nothing there. The tournaments that they weren't female. I mean, the only female things we had, it was some online cups from time to time. So now it's so much bigger, but it's still, I know it's still not as big as it was 1.6 before. At least in the female scene, because there was much more girls playing before than it is now. More teams, more tournaments too. But yeah, I think it's not so bad. As I said, it's growing, but we need more tournaments, more qualifiers, so the girls feel active. Because if there is only ESWC now and it's only 8 teams that could go, the other teams, they have nothing to do, so they, there's no tournaments, there is nothing, so they don't feel motivated to keep playing, keep improving.
No, that's the thing, or that's what, because there's always these discussions that are constantly going on, right, about female scene and how it carries over into like the main scene as a whole. Do you feel like, more female teams should be trying to participate in the qualifiers going into the Dream Hacks and other major tournaments?
I definitely do think that, and we try to do it, but at the same time, it's difficult because you need to be in a certain point in the game to be ready to play, because it's really hard to play against good male teams. It's really good because they have a mentality about you, and you have to be prepared mentally about how to take what's happening, because they will try to run over you, and it's different if you're a male team and you're bad. They will also run over you, but it's different,
Yeah, like there's a little bit more behind it.
Yeah, because you know what they're thinking, because we've heard about it since we started playing. So the girls that are new to the scene, and they need to play, they need to feel good about playing things. If they have their own tournament, we have our own tournament, we enjoy it because it's a different environment. And we can be competitive. They can be competitive with each other. And yeah, it's just good to attract more girls into the game. And then when you're ready, when you feel like, okay, I've played enough of female things, I need to play something else, then you're ready to play more qualifiers, more tournaments, more serious. I think it's all about that.
Do you feel like it's like the female scene should stay? It shouldn't be something that should be like phased out and basically, it's just like one scene. You feel like it's a good stepping stone?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, because we need some place in between for girls. At least now, how people is towards the game now, because and towards the female scene, because it's very aggressive still. People, but it's improving a lot. Actually, I'm very surprised how lately, like in these past 6 months or something, I've seen people change their minds about the whole female scene a lot. And yeah, I'm actually very surprised that I see more and more people every day understanding why it's difficult for us to compete with other male players, because it is it is difficult.
But you feel like there's hope, like it's not like as if the situation was hopeless, but
no,
that it's looking better.
It's with everything, it needs time. It needs time to adapt and everyone to evolve. I think it's just the word. The game and the people and the female and male, it needs to evolve. People needs to grow and be more open to everything.
Do you feel like you have the right team to tackle that? With this group that you guys have got, I mean, you've dominated so far, it seems, for the past year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely want to do as much as we can, and obviously, personally, my goal is to play and get as high as possible. And I've always wanted to play versus top teams and be there.
You just had that opportunity with Fragbite where you were able to play versus Titan.
Yeah.
You guys played what, three maps?
Yeah.
3 maps, because there was
2, 3.
No.
Well, and then against Masters.
And then Mouse Sports. That's right.
5. Yeah.
5 maps total. Do you feel like that kind of experience right there is like what you need more of? Because it feels like you don't really get the opportunity to play against these teams.
We don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely what we needed to. Like seriously, it was such an experience. Like, so good. It felt about the game like we learned so much, and I want to keep doing that because I think we can do much better.
Oh, it seemed like it. I mean, it seemed like you guys were just learning so much from map to map.
Yeah.
Even in the first time you played versus Titan, then you came back and played them again. It seemed like already you were trying to make adjustments on what went wrong the first time versus the second.
Yeah, we were also like very nervous and and small stuff. Then it was so much small stuff, and we tried to talk about it and fix it, for the next time. And I think we're trying really hard.
And real quick, before we wrap this up, ESWC is happening next week, right? How do you feel going into that competition? Because, I mean, last time you were up on the podium, I think, basically everybody from the team, they were there.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about going into it this time?
Well, I'm very excited because, I don't know, ESWC is such a big tournament. In the female wise, I mean, it's one of the two.
Yeah.
But it has something. It's very exciting, and there's so much competitiveness about it. And I'm very, very excited. This year looks pretty good. The tournament, I think it's going to be more interesting than last year. Everyone seems to be playing much more, and I think it's going to be interesting. But we feel confident about it. Like, obviously, we go for the win only.
Well, yeah. And do you feel like that would be a big upset if it wasn't you on the podium at the top?
I feel that way. I think kind of everyone feels that way, at least.
Do you feel any more pressure because of that?
No, not really, because we already have that on ourselves. Like, we only want to win, and it doesn't matter if it's an upset, because it would be even if people wouldn't expect it from us. You know what I mean? So, but we go carefully, of course. We never underestimate anyone, and we just gonna play our game, and I think it will work.
So where can people follow you to keep up with all this?
Well, I'm in Facebook. Sonia CSGO, and then I'm also on Twitter with the same name, Sonia CSGO.
Sonia CSGO, okay.
Yeah, so it's easy.
Well, there we go. Thanks so much for the interview.
Well, thank you for having me. yeah, and thanks for all my sponsors and everything.